Hey guys, so thought I'd start the day off right. Morning cardio, fasted morning cardio actually. So in this video, since it's my first day back from Body Power, I got in yesterday, it was like Wednesday. The whole day was just, I was asleep. It took me like 48 hours to get home. Last week was definitely a bit difficult because we were always eating out. Schedule was all over the place, barely got any training in because when I did train, we were doing a photo shoot, which it's not really a good training day. That's a good photo shoot day. Training wise, sucks. That's okay though. I want my life to be I want it to be effective in terms of my physique development, building muscle, all that stuff. But first and foremost is my actual life. YouTube, travel, those things all come before things like bodybuilding or men's physique or whatever. So today we're gonna cover a few tips and tricks, my personal strategies when it comes to dieting, things that help make the diet easier, faster, more effective for me. Starting off with cardio. Technically, fasted cardio.
And guys, when I say cardio, the thing that I like most about it is I personally prefer to eat a little bit more and then bring down my net calories with additional energy expenditure in the form of cardiovascular exercise. And although in this video, and oftentimes I do find myself doing morning fasted cardio, this is simply due to time constraints and my personal schedule. There is not much scientific evidence pointing towards fasted morning cardio on an empty stomach having super physiological levels of fat loss.
Okay guys, back from cardio, and I finally fixed that weird hair situation thing. Next up, as my second tip of the day, is this one's more psychological or behavioral. This one is to stay busy. One of the worst things you can do is to just sit there, because when you do that, your body's naturally gonna start thinking about like its cravings or your hunger level. So many people, I think they cheat on their diet, simply overeat, or they end up in a calorie surplus and they end up gaining weight or becoming, like overweight or obese. Not because they're actually hungry, but because they're simply bored. Or people eat when they're sad, nervous. You know when you're sitting there and you're just like watching TV and you're snacking on chips or candy? Bitch, you ain't hungry, you're just bored. If you're eating for any reason besides actually being hungry, chances are you don't need to be eating. Now, if you're bulking or you're maintaining, fine, it doesn't matter because you can technically go and eat more numerous times throughout the day and you could be okay. But if you are cutting, such as I am myself, and you are in a diet, you should only be eating when you are actually in a state of hunger. If you're kind of bored and you kind of feel like a craving, you can get over that by just doing something else. The best time in my life, when I think that my diet was the most on point and my dieting just came naturally easiest to me, was actually last summer. I was working part-time at my job, so every day I would wake up at like 7 or 8 in the morning, I would get some work done, I'd go for cardio, go to my job, come back, and I'd be done around like 1 or 1:30, and that would be my first meal of the day. And I didn't really feel hunger throughout the entire morning because I would get to work and I immediately have emails and business meetings and so much stuff going on that it's almost as if I'm too busy to actually notice that I'm hungry. The worst thing you can do is wake up and just kind of no, if you get to work, don't sit there and, be like, oh, I can go for a coffee or a muffin or a donut in the morning. No, get to work. That will come later. That will be your reward. That way you can eat, later in the day. But in the meantime, honestly, if you just keep yourself busy doing anything, then that will help dramatically, which is what I am doing right now. I'm actually gonna go to the grocery store and stock up on groceries because our fridge is empty because I've been away for like a week. So I'm gonna go load up, probably show you guys a little bit of a quick update as to what I buy, get back and immediately get to work. I've got a lot of emails, I've got so much work to catch up on considering I've spent the last like 48 hours on a plane with no access to the internet. So lots of work to do. And when the hunger actually kicks in later in the day around lunchtime, that is when I'll eat. In the meantime, stay busy. Tip number 3, intermittent fasting. So this one I've talked about so many times, everyone talks about on YouTube, so I'm not gonna dwell too much on this, but intermittent fasting, pretty much, I don't eat for the first, a good portion of the day, which kind of ties into tip number 2, because I stay busy. I don't really focus, or I can't even, it's like you don't even know you're hungry yet. You don't give hunger or cravings or all of these annoying little nuisances time to even develop and time to even notice them because you're busy. And in doing so, for example, today I woke up at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock I went to the grocery store, started doing stuff, just got back, it's like 7:30, 7:45, and I'm getting to work immediately. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm staying busy, I'm able to skip breakfast and I'm able to push my first meal of the day. Instead of me waking up at 6 and eating at 6:30, I probably won't be eating till around lunchtime. The reason behind this isn't because I'm going to get a super physiological amount of fat loss. It's not like right now my body is in super fat loss mode and I'm going to be losing a lot more fat now because I'm fasted. Oh wow, it's so anabolic, as opposed to like had I just eaten, you know, a standard 4, 5, 6 meals a day and started off with breakfast. No, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is calories in and calories out. Macronutrients in, macronutrients out. If you fast the entire day, and let's say you have one meal, just one meal, so you're fasting for 23.5 hours, and then you spend half an hour of every day eating, but in that meal you have like pizza and burgers and you eat like 3,000 calories, guess what? You are going to gain weight. I don't care how long you fast, I don't care what you do. Fasting is a tool for convenience. Fasting is not a super physiological fat loss magician's tool. It doesn't do that. Number 4, a little bit of a drink here. So a lot of times I've talked about this in the past, and a lot of people, they'll talk about how caffeinated beverages such as coffee or maybe even tea or like an energy drink, it's going to blunt your appetite. And the answer to that is yes and no. Recently, actually, to be honest, I didn't know about this until a little while ago, and it just goes to show, guys, that us YouTube fitness people, we're not brilliant. We're not geniuses. Like, I literally have been talking about this for months or years, and only recently did I realize, like, that's not actually true, and in a sense, I was kind of wrong. So anybody out there who says that that's it, they know everything, they're lying. The second you close off your mind to incoming additional knowledge is the second you stop growing and developing as an individual. And for me to do that, especially at the age of 25, that is just stupid. So I will never say that. So someone actually mentioned this in one of my comments. They said that caffeine actually doesn't have any evidence that it blunts appetite, even though I always thought that was the case. And I said, all right, you know, any evidence of that? And this person actually did provide an article, which is fantastic because, you know, that's one thing I see so much online. People say stuff and they don't back it up. So the fact that this guy did it, props to you. I wish I remembered your name or your username. This is like a month ago, but they actually did provide a scientific article. They pretty much took individuals and they fed them in the morning. I think it was like caffeinated and non-caffeinated beverages. So it could have been like water, tea, coffee. I can't remember what it was. Then they asked them to evaluate, essentially, let us know how hungry you feel after a few hours. And the interesting thing is that in both situations, the people with and without caffeine felt the same level of hunger. So it seems that what helps blunt appetite is simply consuming a beverage, because I think it's going to expand your stomach, it's going to add to your food volume, and that in turn is going to give you a blunted appetite effect, which means this could be Diet Coke. It could be, you know, an energy drink with caffeine and all that good stuff to wake you up in the morning, but the caffeine is not actually what blunts your appetite. This could be tea, this could be coffee, this could be water, this could be juice. I don't care. It technically is going to have a slight appetite blunting effect. But the point is, for those of you out there, such as myself, who used to feel that you have to have coffee, or you have to have a Monster, or you have to have caffeine to blunt the appetite, this is what makes intermittent fasting so easy. Not necessarily. You can literally go have like water or something with like 1/10 of the actual caffeine content, and in terms of your actual dietary craving or appetite suppression, it's the exact same. Okay guys, so first meal of the day, it's around 11 o'clock in the morning, so a solid 4.5-ish, 5 hour fast. Not bad. Got a lot of work done. I have a little bit more to do, but I'm going to take this as my lunch break right now. So first meal of the day. Now, if you guys have seen my previous full day of eating videos, this may seem a bit repetitive, but screw it. You know, if it works, it works. So what I'm using is 2 low-carb barley wraps, about 115-ish grams of cooked chicken breast, a little bit of low-calorie, low-fat ranch sauce, some salsa, and a tiny piece of about half a slice of cheese with some red peppers. So that's it, guys. Quick, easy. The whole thing took me like 5 minutes to prepare, and I'll probably wash it down with like a Diet Coke or, you know, maybe a water if I'm like feeling extra #health. This brings me to tip number 5. This one is probably going to be very simple and obvious for a lot of people who watch my channel who are into bodybuilding or fitness. But for those of you guys who may be tuning in who aren't necessarily, you know, you think of yourselves as like fitnessy or bodybuilders, you're kind of like, hey, I'm interested in losing weight, but I don't really care about, you know, having a crazy amount of muscle mass or something. A lot of people who watch my channel, they're just interested in leaning down and being healthier. They have no aspirations of being like 200 pounds and 6% body fat and stepping on stage. Tip number 5 is have a high protein diet. At the end of the day, if you want to lose body fat and if you want to decrease your weight, all you have to be is in a calorie deficit. That's why my girlfriend, Jordan, she actually, I think her first video on YouTube ever, she lost like 40 pounds over the course of like 1 or 2 years when she was in high school. And she did this video and she called it, I lost 40 pounds eating chocolate. Because at the end of the day, as long as you are in a calorie deficit, it doesn't matter if you're eating like vegetables and lean chicken and broccoli and rice. Or theoretically, if you're eating like McDonald's and chocolate, if you count what you are eating, you can eat crap and you can lose fat. I think it's a little bit easier and it's a little bit healthier, and you're gonna have an overall higher quality physique if you count macros and you eat high protein, moderate carb, low fat, all these things. But technically you can take all that, throw it out the window, eat zero protein, high carb, high fat, and as long as you count it properly and put yourself in a calorie deficit, you will lose fat, end of story. However, I don't advocate just doing that. I advocate, calories are king, but macronutrients, especially protein being one of the key macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat, this is like a very close second. It's like king and queen. So 3 big reasons why a high protein intake is very beneficial when you are dieting, regardless if you're a bodybuilder, men's physique competitor, fitness person, non-fitness person, 40-year-old lady trying to lose weight. It doesn't matter. Protein intake is great for all individuals. Number 1 is it preserves your muscle mass. So when you are dieting, your body is literally eating itself alive. That's what it is. It is eating its own fat mass and burning that up. However, your body has multiple ways of storing energy. Fat is the primary way that your body stores energy, which is why we put you, when you're dieting, into a calorie deficit, an energy deficit. Not enough energy, your body needs it from somewhere else. So where's it gonna get it from? It's gonna burn up your fat mass. Your body can and will, in some rare, but yeah, it will in some circumstances, actually burn up muscle mass, because muscle can actually be broken down into its fundamental components, aka protein, which can be further broken down into amino acids, which are like these tiny little puzzle pieces which make up long chains of proteins. And these amino acids can technically be broken down further and metabolized into glucose, which is the exact same thing as if you were ingesting carbohydrates. It's all broken down into glucose, which is what the body uses for energy, for everything that it does. This is why natural bodybuilders, when we lose like 30, 40, 50 pounds, ideally 100% of that would be fat mass, but that's never the case. I'd say, if you're dieting properly, it's about 80 to 90% of that is fat mass. Some of that, 10, 15, 20% is going to be actually muscle mass that you lose. In addition, another 2 big factors, protein is a very satiating macronutrient. Compared to carbohydrates and fat, protein will keep you full longer and it's more filling. If you were to eat the exact same amount in terms of actual weight of protein source and a carbohydrate source, in terms of the actual filling effect, protein will be better. And the third thing I want to mention is protein has a higher thermic effect of food than other macronutrients. I've talked about this once in a previous video. I think it was on the 10,000 calorie aftermath video. But to quickly summarize, every macronutrient you ingest, protein, carbohydrates, and fat, can be broken down into calories, aka energy. Now, your body, it can't just metabolize. It's not like it just breaks it down. It snaps its metaphorical fingers and all the food that you ingested just burns up. When you are starting a fire, you first have to light the match. You have to give up a little bit of energy in order to get back more energy. You have to give that initial investment. Same case when it comes to metabolizing food, carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Now, this is what we call the thermic effect of food, because when you are eating certain food, your body actually has to spend a little bit of the energy coming from that food to metabolize it. It's almost like we're burning calories in order to get back calories. So the more calories we burn, the better it is. And the thermic effect of food is about 5 to 15%. It's the range for carbohydrates and fat, meaning that when you are ingesting this, somewhere around, let's go midway, 10% of the calories actually coming in from fat and carbohydrates are going to be burnt up just to metabolize said carbohydrates and fat. Now, when it comes to protein, the thermic effect of food is a lot higher. It's over double. It's somewhere between 20 to 35%. That's almost 1/3 of the actual energy coming in from protein is used to metabolize that protein, which is fantastic. It means that in a way you can almost jump to the conclusion that almost 1/3, or probably around 1/4 if you want to be more conservative, of the actual calories coming in from protein don't actually make it to your body. The actual amount of calories your body can use and store, which will inhibit fat loss, this number is less when it comes to protein intake. That is why if you eat more protein, your body will preserve muscle mass. It'll have less net calories usable, and it'll stay satiated and full longer. Guys, a high protein diet is so effective and invaluable when it comes to dieting. I don't care if you're a bodybuilder, an athlete, or a regular Joe Schmo who's interested in losing some fat. Yeah, you want to lose fat, but you also want to make sure you have some muscle underneath. Protein intake is the way to do it. Also, quick little dessert or snack after my lunch. This is a My Protein Pro Bar. This is the caramel nut flavor, and I love it because it's only about 26 grams of carbs, but honestly, it tastes exactly like a Snickers bar. Okay guys, so next up, have a quick little snack. We got, this is 115 grams of carrot sticks, and then there's about 40 grams of hummus. And yes, I did weigh all of it out. Now, this is a great little snack to give me a good probably around 1.5 to 2 servings of vegetables, and then a lot, a good, nice, natural source of fiber. And this brings me into my next tip of the day, which is, guys, have a relatively high fiber diet. I'm not gonna go into the whole explanation of soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and then what it does in your digestive system, how it it works with the probiotic. There's so much good stuff towards it. But one of the most standard things is that fiber is not metabolized the exact same way as other carbohydrates. It's actually metabolized about halfway. So each gram of fiber, instead of being 4 calories like most carbohydrates are, it's about 2, or technically it's 1.8 or something. Technically, you can eat 100 grams of carbohydrates in the form of sugar, 100 grams of carbohydrates in the form of fiber, and the actual net calories will be half for the fiber, meaning that it's almost like free invisible calories or something. Overall, makes the process a little bit easier. And it just, okay, I don't know how to put this nicely, but think about it this way. Fiber is very good for making you move and be regular, for lack of a better word. I'll just wrap it up like this. If you're eating a diet that is high in protein and low in fiber, you're gonna have a bad time.
Hey guys, welcome back to the greatest fitness commentary ever. Pull workout by VitruvianPhysique. Okay, seriously though. Today we are doing a pull workout. This is really exciting because this is actually the first pull workout of my mesocycle 2 in my training program. And the second mesocycle is all about moderate intensity, which I'm really excited by. Mesocycle 1 was a little bit lower intensity, higher rep, higher volume. It's definitely important to train like that sometimes, not the majority of the time, but sometimes. And although I did enjoy it, it was very different from what I'm used to. I'm very excited to be into mesocycle 2, back to heavier training, more akin to classic bodybuilding. But that's not what I want to talk about with the commentary of this video. This is something which I've been meaning to talk about for a while, and it's something which I did, which was straight up stupid. And guys, I know on YouTube, I want to, everybody wants to paint this image of, I am so awesome, I am so smart, I am the best, subscribe to my channel, watch my videos, buy my stuff. And most of the time that is the case, but sometimes I do dumb stuff, and this is definitely an example of which. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but in my off season back in November, December, January, when I was still bulking, when I was somewhere in the high, mid to high 190s in terms of my body weight, I was relatively strong. I was doing heavy weighted pull-ups. I mean, I was doing I think the strongest I ever did. I'll show you guys on the screen right now. This is actually from that motivational workout video I did back in December. And I was doing, this is weighted pull-ups with 50 pounds. Number one, I did it incorrectly in terms of the grip. I did it with my thumbs overhand. This is not right. I can't stress you guys, I can't stress this to you guys enough. This actually gave me pretty bad forearm pain. I was getting golfer's elbow. And essentially for the next 2 or 3 months, whenever I tried to grip anything over 50 pounds, whether it be dumbbell rows or pull-ups or anything, my forearms completely gave out. And this really set me back. This is actually one of the reasons why I had to drop my pull-ups, and I was doing bodyweight pull-ups for the last 2, 3, 4 months. Finally, now I'm getting back into weighted pull-ups, and here I'm doing 8 kilos, which is 15 pounds or something, significantly less than what I used to do before. However, the 2 things that have changed is, number one, I am doing underhand grip, which is it's a small but big important factor, which I want you guys, if anybody out there is doing overhand grip, cut that shit out, honestly. You can thank me later. And the second thing is I finally fixed my form. I used to be kind of doing these pull-ups where, I can't necessarily do it. I can't necessarily do the full 50 pounds of weighted pull-up, but because I want to feel like a big man, I want to lift with my ego, I want to look cool for the camera, I would kind of thrust myself up. I would use my legs for momentum, and I kind of throw myself up, and it's almost like I'm humping the air, as opposed to doing a concentrated, taking my ego out of the equation, where I'm only using my lats and isolating the muscle group I'm actually using to pull my body up in the vertical plane. When this happens, guys, you're no longer doing the exercise. This applies to pull-ups, this applies to absolutely anything. If you can't do the exercise properly, you are no longer doing the exercise. You may be increasing the weight because you want to feel like a big man, like I felt. I'm so big doing 50 pounds on the weighted pull-up, but I'm not doing the weighted pull-up. I'm doing something which looks like the weighted pull-up, and in the end, it screwed me up. If you need to cheat to do the exercise, you are no longer doing the exercise. You are doing something which looks like the exercise. If you can't bench, squat, or deadlift the weight properly, and you're doing something else, congratulations, I don't care, because the question is, how much do you bench, not how much do you do something which looks like a bench press or something which looks like a squat. If you can't do it properly, leave your fucking ego at the door and fix your form. And I wish I told this to myself 6 months ago before I messed up my elbow, and I'm finally back to normal now, but it was definitely a hard lesson to learn, and I hope you guys don't make the same mistake I did.
Okay guys, so tip number 5, 6, to be honest, I forget. I've been doing this all day, I've lost track. So, just got back from the workout, and I don't know why, because I trained back, but my chest is looking pretty damn good. A lot of times people ask me, they say, Igor, you know, especially clients, they say, Igor, what do you do on weekends or on days that you have social situations? You know, you got a wedding, you got a birthday, you're going out with coworkers, you're going out with friends. So number one, chances are, very rarely is this like sporadic and spontaneous. It's like 8 o'clock, everything's fine. 8:05, oh, suddenly I'm at the bar and there's chicken wings and there's burgers and oh, now it's attacking me. No, that's usually not how it works. You know about this stuff typically a few days or maybe even a few hours beforehand. And when you know about this, such as today, because Jordan and I, we are going out to eat later tonight, you can plan ahead. One of my favorite things to do is look at the menu for the place you are going and have an idea of what you are going to get. And then put that into MyFitnessPal beforehand. We were talking hours ahead. So today I knew for a fact we're going to this place nearby. We're gonna go to like a dinner and movie. We're having a date night because I've been gone for like a week and a half. Over in the UK, so we haven't seen each other in a little while. So we're going to this place. It's like an Asian kind of noodle, chicken, rice, you know, the usual. We've been there before, and I know roughly idea of what I'm going to get. So today, at like 12 o'clock, pretty much around the time I was having my first meal, I knew about this, and I actually went into MyFitnessPal, and I put in what I'm gonna get. It's about 200 grams of chicken breast, about 2 cups of brown rice, and we got some like fat, you know, this delicious kind of sweet curry sauce. It's not 100%, but it's decent estimations. And I'll show you guys when we actually get there, and you'll see that, you know, worst case, I'm off by like 5, maybe 10% in the calories. And when you're dealing with a 500 calorie meal, being off by 10% is like 50 calories, and it's not a big deal. That's literally like my walk to the gym. So at the end of the day, it's not gonna make a big difference. But the main reason I do this is because you can plan the earlier part of your day for the later part of your day. The worst thing that could happen is that you eat all day normally, expecting to have like, you know, a very normal evening, and then surprise, you're eating out and you're eating all this high calorie density foods. But if you plan ahead for this in the morning, you'll be able to eat a little bit extra clean, which is what I've been doing because I know that later in the day I'm gonna have to like save up. It's almost like a savings account. You have to save up those calories, those fats, those carbohydrates for later in the day. Now I can enjoy my meal, and it's completely guilt-free because I knew about this like 8, 9, 10 hours ahead of time. And that's why I was sitting here eating carrots and hummus. It's not because I'm a friggin' rabbit. It's because I'm gonna have the good stuff later. Okay guys, back from the movie. We saw Alien Covenant. It was not bad. Not great, but not bad. It was kind of like a sequel to Prometheus, which I friggin' loved. That was like, I'm a sci-fi kind of guy. Like, I love sci-fi movies, and I love Prometheus. Like, the story, the mythology, everything about it was fantastic. It wasn't just one of those usual, like, sci-fi movies where it's just like, blah, blah, blah. I really enjoyed the story. I think it was very creative. So I think I would give Prometheus like an 8, maybe even an 8.5. This is more like a 7, 7.2. So, what I'm having right now is breakfast at 10 o'clock. So, this is 2 whole eggs, 2 egg whites, and then about, this is like 60 to 70 grams of sliced chicken breast combined with 60 to 70 grams of sliced lean ham. Also, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 cherry tomatoes and 1 pickle. So we got, you know, another serving or 2 of fruits / vegetables. We have a lot, you know, a good amount of protein, a little bit of fat, very, very low carb. But I still have some carbs left over, so we'll get to that soon. This is probably like what I'm having right now is like, it's kind of like my second choice for what I wanted to eat today. I actually was kind of looking forward to, I got these pro meals from My Protein, but I am not doing that today because I think that with these full day of eatings, the most important thing is to show you guys quick, easy, realistic recipes and foods that you can eat. So if I just eat all of these like meal prep meals or like all these supplements, that's why I might throw in a protein shake or a protein bar here or there, but I would never want the majority of my food to be coming from supplements or meal prep services because that's not realistic for you guys. You guys have to, you know, I want to show you guys recipes that you can easily, quickly, and inexpensively make and have access to at any local grocery store. Everybody can get egg whites. Everybody can get chicken breast and like, you know, wraps and fruits and vegetables and, you know, tuna, steak, chicken. All these things are very basic and everyone can have access to that. The second I start incorporating too much of this stuff, which not many people can get or have or afford or I don't even think that you can even get this in the States yet. I think it's only Australia and Europe. So point is, that's definitely something which I was gonna do, but not today, maybe tomorrow, because the most important thing with these videos is relatability and giving you guys information that you guys can take and apply immediately within your lives. Me sitting here eating a bunch of food which fits my macros perfectly, but you guys are like, that's cool, I can never do that. That video would essentially be useless to you guys, and therefore it's useless to me. Oh, hell yeah! This is how I end off the day. We got a waffle cone, and this is about 80 grams of lemon sorbet. So the good thing about this is that it's literally like nothing but ice and then a little bit of sugar. It's the lowest calorie ice cream alternative I've ever seen, and a really great way for me to get some quick, easy carbohydrates or a sugary treat, kill my cravings. But honestly, this whole thing together is maybe 20-25 grams of carbs at the most. It's like less than a banana.